long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, the Mandalorian, Cara Dune, and that one guy whose name I totally forgot just now.
Carl Weathers.
Thank you, Carl Weathers. Are pinned down. I don't know.
We only get into this episode.
Ken,
get in here!
Greta?
He just pops out of nowhere.
He's just like, hello.
We need,
Hold on,
for real, we need to kidnap someone.
Hold on, I'm not real. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet.
Go for it, I'm looking up his name.
The Moff, played by Gus from Breaking Bad.
Moff Gideon.
Thank you.
That I knew.
Moff Gideon.
What's the actor's name?
Oh.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Son of a bitch. I had Esposito. But yeah.
Also the genie in Once Upon a Time.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, really. Anyways.
He was the genie. He wasn't the genie. He was
the mirror.
He was the genie
And
turned into the
mirror.
mirror.
Yeah, he becomes the mirror.
Before I say his name, does any of you have a guess?
No.
Once Upon a Time is stupid. Is Carl still part of it?
No. His name is Grief Karga.
Grief Karga.
Didn't they say he was like a diplomat or something? Or like
Former diplomat.
That's
yeah.
interesting.
Anyways,
Okay.
they're pinned down. Moff's pissed. We got Scout Troopers racing back to the town with Baby Yoda. And shit's about to the fan. This is where we started on episode 8, Redemption of the Mandalorian.
You know what I love, Ben?
What?
Child violence.
Oh! I'm Ben Magnet. This is Ryan Eliopoulos,
I don't like
Sparks
child
Smitty,
violence.
and of course, Brian T. McClure joining us for FakeNerd's Watch Mandalorian, the final episode of the season.
Finale.
And I have to say, I really like this episode.
Yeah.
Remember when we split 7 and 8 because we were like, oh, we better get 7 out before 8 comes out because we'll have to wait for 8 because Ryan was going to be gone? They're all coming out the same week.
Yeah. Hey, that's how it happens. It's cool, dog.
Whoops.
Yeah. This was a fun, action-packed episode with a lot of cool Star Wars stuff.
The IG-11 sequence where he's blowing fools through the streets was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the speeder bike?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
You know what
spinning
that
around.
reminded me of?
Baby Thanos.
Tartakovsky's Clone Wars.
Yeah.
The first part.
Oh,
You're
He
right.
goes through
You're
the
so
speeder bike
right.
in the
Lancer
city.
guy?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
you're
Lancer
so
guy,
right.
yeah.
Oh.
You're so right.
Oh my god, I would love to see that.
But yeah,
squad
it
show.
did
Yeah,
also.
right.
But yeah, IG-11 did remind me of Cosmic Ghost Rider holding Baby Thanos.
Yeah, that's a cool comic book reference
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, the episode opens with Jason Sudeikis and Adam Pally.
Okay, did you have to look it up? I mean, like, did you know
I already knew
before
who it was.
you looked
Yes,
it up?
because I saw this episode much later. I watched it today.
Got you.
Yeah, I watched it today.
Right,
I knew it was Jason Sudeikis.
So I was sitting there watching it, and I'm just listening to the Stormtrooper talk, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's Jason Sudeikis, just off his inflection and tone. And I'm like, that sounds exactly like the way he talks. And then Megan Googled it, and she's like, yeah, Jason Sudeikis. I'm like, man,
I like
you can pick that guy out of a lineup.
Yeah.
I like watching them try to shoot the pin can.
Yeah.
They can't.
And
they like
they both
They like shake their
Just that-
gun. Yeah.
Just that whole sequence, that whole banter sequence, they ride up and they're like, hold on, Moff just killed a guy for looking wrong. Okay, standing by. And their whole banter scene is hilarious.
That sequence is fantastic. It felt out of place in this series up to this point. I was like, wait, are we all of a sudden this kind of thing we can do?
And we spent a lot of time on them
Yeah.
before we get back to our main characters.
Yeah, a couple minutes,
I thought
yeah.
that was very strange.
And I loved it. I loved every minute of it. But I'm also like, where was this any point?
The whole show
before
could have
now?
had this?
Like, how did the Stormtroopers both have so much more character than anybody in the prisoner ship episode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's what I mean. I'm like, where is this kind of thing to connect me to these characters in all of the previous episodes up to this point that have been like this?
I know he didn't direct it, but like maybe Taika Waititi, who directed it, being the comedic guy he is, like maybe this was like this was the idea. Like, let's make it funnier. Let's not.
And like, I don't even think it necessarily need to be funny though. That I think that helps, and
Yeah.
I think it helps to like kind of relieve the anxiety from where the last episode left off.
Quill died.
But it still felt like if we're going to have moments like this to breathe, it shouldn't be at episode 8 where we first start introducing moments that feel like this. I should feel moments like this. That's the whole point of this being a Star Wars television show and not a Star Wars movie. My characters need to breathe in the moments and have enjoyable interactions like this. And how is it taken this long to get
It's
here?
interesting because, like, this is the final episode where, like, the big standoff action scene happens, and the first thing we see is, like, this comedy bit.
Right.
It is kind of, like, weird. Like, why can't the whole show have this tone, like, kind of fluctuate with comedy?
Because it wouldn't feel so out of place.
Yeah. I do agree, like...
But I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's I wanted more of it.
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. Which is why I'm like, it just felt like it was very suddenly a different show.
Yeah. But it's super interesting that they have to hang out and like, this Moff showed up and he killed a bunch of people and we're just gonna like hang back and see what's going on here.
That exchange was fantastic. This did bring up something because I was thinking about, and I rewatched episode 7 before this one.
Quill.
I don't understand how the Stormtroopers hear his radio signal, but nobody else does. Why the Scout Troopers are hearing it?
Okay.
I wish there was some kind of something to indicate why they can hear when he's radioing Queel.
Yeah.
Because I don't get it.
If I had to take
If it were that easy to do, I wouldn't expect Mando to even risk it.
Yeah, if I had to take a stupid Star Wars educated guess, like, the Scout Troopers are the ones who maybe have the technology to it because they're scouting, but they never say that, or it's never implied.
I was going to say something like the Scout Troopers, like, the comm links that they use were comm links that they had from Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
And
Grief Karga.
they had been given to them by the Imperial Troopers. It was a trap.
Yeah.
That would have at least helped me to understand, like, how they catch on.
Yeah.
Because Giancarlo Esposito, it's unclear if he even knows that the child isn't there, yet the Scout Troopers know.
Yeah.
And how come he doesn't know, but they know?
There's a line that Mando says, like, he like, the child's gone or else they would have killed us by now, or something. They say something like that, so, like, the Moff knows
If
that...
they had the child, they would have killed us by
Yeah,
now.
so the
Sure.
Moff does know that the child's not there, but
Okay.
they haven't communicated that he doesn't know that.
It's very bizarre, the handling of that, and I like these episodes, but that part is super weird to me, and I'm like, I don't understand how this happened, other than because, like, we want that moment of Queel dying and then the baby getting abducted and everything.
Yeah, I wanna real quickly touch on a comedy moment I really like, which was the when the Stormtroopers are raiding the Jawa's place, and the Jawa's like, the Stormtroopers like, what is this? And IG-11 just shoots them all.
Yeah.
and the Jawa's like,
Yeah.
He's grabbing his stuff back.
Jawas are awesome.
yeah. I like the action in the sequence a lot. I want to real quickly though. I'm gonna jump around. I'm gonna jump a bit to
Jump up, and get down.
when we see Pedro Pascal's face the first time in the show.
Hooray! It's the last time, too, probably.
For a while.
Yeah.
I don't like that sequence, mainly because it feels very forced. Because if he's not actually going to die in that situation, we know he's not going to die. I never once thought that he was going to.
It's the name of the show.
The next time we see him immediately after
with the helmet on.
They leave him with the helmet on. So I'm just kind of like, well, why have this moment if, like, you can have him be wounded.
Yeah.
You can have that be the stakes. Like, okay, now you're wounded, let's go. But the whole thing is like, leave me to die, go on. I'm okay. Like,
because if you're going to kill IG-11, it's supposed to be this thing that kind of changes his perspective on droids.
Yeah.
Because that's his whole thing, is he's been prejudiced against droids, and he says it's this droid in particular, and everyone's like, no, it's just droids.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, that's the first thing that sees his face in so long, because it gets around the loophole of the non-living thing. Mm-hmm. So I think all of that part of it works for me. Here's the part that doesn't work for me. I don't give a crap about seeing Pedro Pascal's face. And it took me seeing his face to realize, I've never cared.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize I never cared, but I never cared. Because you guys have talked about it, and the thing is that I'm like, I never once believed that once the mask comes off, it would stay off. So what's the point of it coming off anyway?
Yeah, it's true.
That's the whole thing, is I'm like, we're too early in the show that it's just going to not be on his head now. So what's the point? If he's not going to have it off to interact with other characters, I don't need to see Pedro Pascal's face.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to keep wearing the helmet.
Yeah.
The strength of the show relies on how other characters interact with him, even if he has the helmet on.
Mm-hmm.
And we just have to give into that.
Yeah,
and there is no point to seeing his face.
Which is why I feel like I don't like that Cara Dune didn't stay with him.
I agree with that 100%. However, I do really like when IG-11 goes to self-destruct.
Yes,
and he's saying, I don't want you to go, and he's like, you don't need to be sad, and he's like, I'm not sad, and he's like, I've analyzed your voice patterns, you're sad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, see, this is all I need. That's all I need to care about this character. I don't need to see his face.
Buff 2D2.
What a Megan flipped out when it started getting up. She's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Well, like, that's an astromech droid. It's got arms.
Yeah,
Buff
Buff 2D2, that's pretty good.
And when he's singing a
Yeah.
gondola song.
I put on subtitles for this episode because my TV was being wonky and it was kind of flickering, so I wanted to make sure I just read it. And it says like he's rhythmically singing a song, and then continues to rhythmically sing. And I'm like, oh my god, he's singing a song like a ferryman.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's such a weird idea. I want that toy.
Buff
That's a
2D2.
cool design.
Yeah, it's a weird thing where like I like the intent of the moment about like him connecting with the droid, and that's why he pulls it off, and it allows everyone to finally see his face and all that crap. But it did make me go, and I don't know, maybe you're feeling a similar way now where you don't feel like you need to see his face.
If this is the extent that we were gonna get it, and then immediately it's on, it's like, yeah, I didn't need it. I feel like this was for the audience who are like, oh, it's that famous guy.
Right.
Like, we know who Pedro Pascal is.
And that's kind of been my whole thing, is that, like, I know you and others have, like, been like, I think I need to see his face, and I've always just kind of have known in the back of my head, and this really confirmed that. I'm like, just because we see it doesn't mean we're always going to see it. It's going to be on his head most of the time, so why do that?
No, my whole thing is I don't understand why the Mandalorians can't take off their helmets. It's still not explained, and it's never been a thing in canon.
And it's the thing we talked about, Mandalorian isn't a race, it's a creed.
Yeah.
No, it's also a race.
It's also... Look, I like the idea that it's a creed. I understand the Foundlings are not always Mandalorians. However...
I mean, Rey adopts Skywalker's name.
There is a species of Mandalorians.
There's a planet of Mandalore where they lived, and like, they're...
It's not just a creed, it is also a people.
Yes.
And that did bug me a little bit. I like the sentiment a lot, but I'm just kind of like, hold on.
Yeah.
There's also a people called Mandalorians.
It is...
I feel like it's something still meant to be explored, because I think this goes back to, like, we were suspecting a long time ago, there are separate factions of the idea behind Mandalore.
Yeah.
And there's what we know from Rebels and Clone Wars really well, and then there's this.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're heading towards finding out that they're, like, this is my whole thing, is that eventually I think his ideology of what this is will be broken. Yeah. And he'll realize that this maybe isn't exactly... This isn't the way. This isn't exactly what Mandalore stands for.
It could be like different sects of Mandalorians that have like different creeds. Like for like to put it in perspective, kind of like how there's like different...
Cool zoom in though. It's a creed.
Yeah, there was. But you know how like there's like a giant umbrella that's technically Christianity. You have like the Catholics, the Presbyterians, the Methodists, the Baptists, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's kind of like that, where some people who follow the Mandalorian creed is like, no, you can take your helmets off. The other Mandalorians are like, no, you can never take it off. And when this Mandalorian was in a certain section or with a certain group, was like, no, you cannot take this helmet off. This is the way.
I did. Speaking of canon,
could be like that. I don't know.
Speaking of canon, I do appreciate that they made it a lot more clear that whatever this purge is, it happened after the Battle of Yavin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry, the Battle of Yavin.
Yeah.
The Battle of Yavin.
Yeah.
It happened after Rebels. It happened after the Death Star.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever this is, it is after where we last saw the Mandalorians. So I do like the clarification there, because I was starting to be like, well, where is what purge?
Yeah, I'm sure. I wouldn't be surprised if next season goes into it a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if Moff Gideon is going to stick around.
Well, if he is going to stick around.
Because then they'd have to, because he's got a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
No, he has
thing.
the
Darksaber.
Yeah,
that is such a.
Can we talk about the Darksaber?
Heck yeah.
Okay,
That's because that's like the most I can't believe that's showing up. Why?
Holy shit! Neither could I.
So the Darksaber, for those of you who don't know, watch Clone Wars, watch Rebels. The Darksaber is the saber made by the only, as we know, as history knows, the only Mandalorian Jedi.
Yeah.
He made it was thousands of years ago, and he made the Darksaber when sabers looked like that. They looked more katana-like than the ones we know.
They look dope as hell is what they look like.
So he made the Darksaber.
One of a kind.
And it's one of a kind, and when he died, the Jedi kept it in the temple. When the Mandalorians stole it, the Death Guard of the Mandalorians, led by Jon Favreau's character, they stole it from the Jedi Temple because it's their birthright, and ever since then, the leaders of Mandalore have had the Darksaber.
Gideon is not that.
It ended up in the hands of Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Who ran the Mandalorian Death Squadron for a long time.
And then Sabine.
And somehow Darth Maul lost it. So this is actually why I'm getting this. This is the third time we've now seen. This is the second time we've now seen the Darksaber in the hands of. Not in the hands of the person we last saw it in.
Sabine, wasn't it mentioned in Solo that Beckett killed Sabine?
No, Beckett killed Aurra Sing.
So Aurra Sing, thank you.
Aurra Sing is
lots of names.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
So Darth Maul had it. Somehow Darth Maul lost it on Dathomir. Sabine found it, and the last time we saw it was in the leader of the Mandalorian people on Rebels. Sabine did not have it.
Sabine used it for a while on Rebels, and then she handed it over.
Yeah, she handed it over. So now,
because she didn't stay with the Mandalorian people at the end.
Yes. So now Moff Gideon has the Darksaber.
Now, I'm not as familiar. I know Clone Wars, but I'm not familiar with Rebels. Do you think Sabine's a character who could show up in like in a flashback explaining how this thing got lost?
I think Sabine could show up in the show.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know like in timeline stuff like where
Sabine's still alive
Okay.
post Return of the Jedi.
I still stand by what I said, which is that like if you can't translate the actress to live action, I feel like they shouldn't do it because I think it's messed up to take that role away from the voice actress.
I agree with that.
So if you can't translate her physically to be the role, just don't have her.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But it's possible. He says that Gideon was involved with
The Purge.
The Purge.
Yeah. He killed...
Din
Sabine
Djarin.
had already handed over the Darksaber before the Purge?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It would have had to have been.
I'm just confirming. So he probably got it there.
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever he did to the Mandalorian people, the Purge of the Mandalorian people, that's when he got the Darksaber. That's when that thing showed up. And I flipped my shit.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. So yeah, Marvel had this thing, this hashtag going around, it's all connected.
Real quick, can you just remind me what year did they say what year exactly Rebels ends at? The end.
Rebels ends a few months before the Battle of Scarif.
On Rogue One?
A few months before the battle.
Yeah.
No, the far future. The end.
It's like a year after Return of the Jedi, I think.
That's what I thought. So we're 5 years after right now.
Yeah.
So I don't think Sabine will show up because supposedly Sabine and Ahsoka are off doing other things.
Yes.
I don't see why they would cross over to this.
Rebels
I think
sequel.
I think she's too far removed from Mandalorian stuff.
Yeah.
To warrant, like, there'd have to be a really good reason to bring her around.
I mean,
this.
she's a Mandalorian.
No, I know, but I mean, like, she stepped away from her people.
Yeah.
So long ago, before the war, and then stayed away even after the war.
Yeah, she stayed on Lothal.
Yeah.
And the Empire never came back to Lothal.
Correct.
Spoilers for Rebels.
Correct.
What was I going to say?
Darksaber?
Hashtag it's all connected.
Oh yeah, so the whole thing that Marvel was trying to do was for the TV shows before Age of Ultron, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had this whole hashtag, it's all connected. One of the things I've always wanted from Star Wars, and Star Wars did it with Rogue One, was seeing a character come from one medium to the next.
Lies, deception.
You see Saw Gerrera come from Clone Wars and go to Rogue One. I love that.
And to Rebels.
I love that. I thought that was excellent. That
And
was,
to Jedi
that was
Fallen
so
Order.
super
Jedi
cool.
Fallen Order.
But so far, he's the only one who's done that.
Mm-hmm.
So now we actually have
Chopper.
Chopper Rogue One.
Sure.
I'll accept it.
All right.
I mean, like, you made the effort to build an actual practical
Yeah.
robot out of an animated droid to put him in the movie. That's effort. Like, I acknowledge that that's effort. I know it's a small bit part, but he's present.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
But this is a TV series directly referencing an event
Yes.
of an animated show.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
dope. It's dope.
That's awesome.
No, it's really great. By the same token, like, Marvel doing that kind of thing with the TV shows, they would never just, like, try and include Hera's ship. Specifically focus on showing it in a shot of The Force Awakens like that movie did. Rogue One.
Yeah.
Because they went out of their way to show that ship. They're like, we know people are watching the anime show, we want them to feel like that's still connected and present and matters. And that they go out of their way to do that, and I'm glad that I know it's been small steps, but they are steps that matter.
It is nice.
And this is a great big step.
Yeah, I really like the idea that for the first time, really ever, a live action TV show has acknowledged and directly referenced an animated show. It is all just one canon.
It's cool.
And that type of synergy is awesome to me, and it got me super excited. And like, listen to our Rise of Skywalker review. I was pretty disappointed, kind of because I felt like the universe was closed off. Like it no longer had the possibilities of the Last Jedi. I now had the closed off of the Rise of Skywalker. Watching them at the end of the Mandalorian, I'm like, oh shit! Open world. Let's go. We can do whatever we want, because now you acknowledge that it all matters. It's like a comic book. It's a universe. It all matters.
You're talking about like the synergy thing again, like not to bring up like another property, but Fallen Order has like the Inquisitors from the
Yes.
comics.
Well,
so
the Inquisitors started in Rebels, and they came to the comics.
Oh,
And then,
okay. I know that. Cool.
they-
Okay. But like it's all Star Wars is doing a much better job at weaving everything together, which is really cool.
Yeah, and
I like
I
that.
really like
Filoni,
that.
we trust.
Yep.
Trust.
Thank
And
you.
that's the whole thing, is like, I would be concerned about the Mandalorians feeling like a different interpretation than what's been done in Clone Wars and Rebels, but it's still the same dude
Yeah.
behind it, the same dude with the hat, Kevin Feige. No.
Yeah.
They both wear hats.
One's just a little more southern.
Yeah, exactly. But Filoni's behind this. He handled all the Mandalorian stuff that was happening before.
Yeah.
I trust that he is going to use the show to find a way to bridge, like, this is why these things are different.
Yeah.
This is how these things are related.
Like we are much bigger fans than the average audience, so we think about like the Mandalore stuff a lot more than the Casey Casual.
Yeah.
So like I'm sure, as the guy you said, like he's the Mandalorian guy. Like he wouldn't be doing this unless he had an idea. So I'm sure season 2 is going to explore all that shit.
I like seeing the Forger talk about the Jedi.
Yeah.
Oh, the armor? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like like the little baby that has special powers. Like, oh, they have a name for that.
That scene with the Flame Trooper where Baby Yoda does use the Force.
I love that flame trooper.
So cool.
I love Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, everyone loves Baby Yoda.
I love
do the hand wave thing.
do the magic hands, and he goes.
I like the getting the signet.
Yeah.
You are a clan of 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rule of 2. Not sick.
Carradine should have stuck around.
I agree. That is probably
That's so
one of the...
disappointing.
And Carl Weathers, too, honestly. That is probably one of the biggest things for me, is that the people behind the show feel still so wrong-headed in the idea that, like, I think it's fine. Me, personally, I think it's fine if we don't see Pedro Pascal's face.
I agree now.
Because until you're going to make the decision for him to have gone, like, I don't need to follow this, this isn't a part of what I need to believe in order to do this, ka-chunk, and take it off, then I don't need to see his face. It doesn't mean anything. I do think the droid moment is good, but I still am like, but it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. He's going to wear the helmet most of the time I see him anyway. So if you're going to do that, that's fine. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
However, he has to be surrounded by people who aren't wearing helmets so that they can engage with him, because Cara Dune makes it so that he works.
Yeah.
Because all of the past 2 episodes when she's with him, he works. He works as a functional main character because he's bouncing off of people who we can see reacting to him. And the voice acting is enough to get past that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I agree with that. I wholeheartedly agree with that.
I think the action in this episode's really good. It's super interesting to me that like they're stuck in this place, right? And then they go out and have a battle, and then they immediately just run back in the exact same place they were 10 minutes ago. And I'm like, that's a cool action scene, but like it kind of was literally pointless.
Yeah.
It literally was pointless. That being said, the action was really good. I think IG-11 is super dope. I was about to call it Cara Delevingne. Because Valerian. Cara Dune's really cool.
She's a daughter of Alderaan.
Yeah.
She's from
Yeah, she was just young enough.
Immediately told me exactly why she hates Imperials.
Yep.
I was like, I get it.
Yeah.
I know why she hates
also, I
Imperials.
love it when Moff Gideon is just like saying like the whole thing, like their entire like.
Oh yeah,
sheets.
we get Din
jargon.
He knew everything about all of them, which is super spooky.
Yeah.
It's like, the daughter of Alderaan, the former Rebellion Shock Trooper. Yeah, I know she's in there.
Yeah.
And she's like,
now these kind of speeches happen with bad guys all the time. Like, oh, like, how do you know I could trust you? Oh, you just have to take my word on it. But he doesn't say that.
No.
He's a hard ass. He's like, listen, I paid you to do a job and you failed it, so you don't have to trust me. I don't like you.
No, he says he's like, how can I trust you? You can't.
Yeah, I will kill you if I need to.
What you can believe in is I'm going to serve my own self-interest, and I just want what I want right now. You serve that, I don't care.
Yeah. Like, and if everything works out, maybe you'll be alive, but I'm probably not.
Even though Juan Carlos Esposito, did I say it right?
Giancarlo
Esposito. Wow.
It's spelled Giancarlo.
Giancarlo.
Even though he was only in the show for an episode and 10 minutes, he was rad.
Yeah.
He was so rad.
He definitely has a presence.
I'm really glad that he didn't die. He has the Darksaber because I want more of him.
You weren't going to introduce him like that and then kill him.
No.
He must be like...
Well, I mean, they killed Werner Herzog.
Yeah. He must be...
No, but that's my whole thing, is like the way that they bring him in is by him killing Werner Herzog.
Yeah.
So you're not going to have him come in like that and then kill him.
And also having his TIE fighter actually land in a badass way. He's like...
The TIE fighter's cool.
I do really appreciate
his Darth Vader inspired armor.
Yeah.
I do really appreciate that when he shows up, his TIE fighter is like the most fearsome thing in the whole quadrant.
And he is a true badass. Like, there's an entire battle happening, and he's just walking, and he just shoots a Mandalorian in the head.
Yeah.
Like, he has no fear.
And he talks about like the gun is like, all these people, this gun mowed down tons of rebels.
I killed your friends. I killed your friends.
It's like, oh yeah, that shock trooper in there. She knows how many people die at the hands of this weapon. So
I've never heard it called an E-web before. That's I thought it was gonna be like a web, but it's just a machine gun. It's just a machine gun.
It's a heavy machine gun.
Yeah.
Or a heavy blast or whatever. But he's like, yeah, she knows how many rebels this type of weapon has murdered.
Just like the one we used in The Purge, Mando.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we used this back then too.
Yeah.
So you really want
we
to
get
not come out?
Do we get the full flashback in this episode?
Yes.
Or was it the last
Yeah,
one?
this
This
get the full
one,
yeah.
flashback
This
this one.
That looks awesome.
I thought it was
It
Boba
did.
Fett for a hot second. And then I realized
the
more Mandos.
Mandalorians, I appreciate that their armor coloring is Clone Wars era.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah,
They're all uniform. They're not as disparate as they are today.
Yeah, it looks like the Mandalorian armor that Jon Favreau's character was running.
Right, exactly. It's the uniforms they were wearing when they were fighting in the wars.
The only thing that would have made that moment even better to like date it to like an exact moment when. Because Mandalorian, we know it's after Obi-Wan intervened with Mandalorian because they weren't in the war at that point. They were trying to stay neutral.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But it would have dated it so well if they had Zabrak horns because that's when Darth Maul took them over. They all had like Zabrak horns. That would have been cool.
So I'm going to throw this out there because I think this is the idea that they're going for, and regardless of like how much, I think there's a little bit of this idea in Rebels. But regardless of how much they might be playing into this, I think the rough basis of this is that there's an amount of Mandalore that now believes in only pure blood, and there's an amount of Mandalore that believes in family.
Mandalorian Civil War.
Yeah.
Because Sabine's family is very much about like your heritage.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a huge thing with them.
That's the whole thing.
And now we're seeing like this whole pushing of the idea of the foundlings and just keeping the creed going because that's what really matters. And I think post Purge, two sides of Mandalorians feel differently about that because so much of them have been wiped out. Some are like we have to keep pure to what we've always been. It's like no, we need to get more people to embrace our way of life.
We need to kidnap kids.
So our traditions, our heritage our culture can live on.
Yeah. I really, so in Rebels, for those of you who don't know, in Rebels, it's introduced the idea that the Mandalorian armor is actually inherited from family. You just remold it to fit you. It is all the same armor stays in your family.
It's an heirloom. Yeah,
that's cool. And you just kind of remold it to fit you. And so having the Forger with that new steel is kind of different with that. The Mandalorians most of them might be gone, might be dead.
Yeah, that kind of bummed me out a little bit.
That did. I was like, no.
Like the pure Mandalorians.
The ones that were
fighting there. Yeah.
That kind of bummed me out. Like, yeah, the Empire come and like most of them died. Some of them might have escaped. I stood here, so I'm like, I
liked her action bit.
I did like her action bit a lot.
She melts a dude.
Yeah.
She throws a dude into her fire.
Cracks that helmet open.
Oh, she cracks 2 helmets, man. Yeah, that's great. Good action scene. But it did bum me out for a story reason. Like, it's fine that it happened. It's bummed me out. I'm like, oh, I don't want them all. I don't want Ham to die.
Well, the best part is she's not dead. As far as we know, she's not dead.
I think she. You know, the line is there specifically to be like, if in season 2 we want to introduce them again, any of the ones that we introduced in this one, like Ham, then he's one of the ones that got off planet.
Yeah, man, you bringing up like the blood Mandalorians versus like the recruitment Mandalorians, like that actually seems like a huge plot point that will absolutely be talked about, because that's like what this whole season was about, is like him being like, I was a foundling and blah blah blah. I'm like, I'm a true Mandalorian. What does that even mean anymore?
He says that Baby Yoda is a foundling, which I appreciated.
Father and son. Oh.
Yep.
Daddy.
Lone Wolf and Cub.
Yep. Dadalorian. Yeah.
I like to call him a foundling, and it kind of made like thinking like, so if that kid, in 50 years when it's probably like 1 year old,
Yoda Mandalorian.
Yoda Mandalorian.
Oh my god, he's got a tiny helmet. Was the helmet that he held up was a child's helmet? Was this what's so implied? Because it looked like a small helmet. That looked like a dead kid, man.
I don't know what that was.
Maybe he just the armor.
Maybe that was a tiny helmet.
Right away!
Yeah. My heritage.
Yeah, my gut instinct is that could be it. That it's kind of a backlash, knee-jerk reaction to so many of them being wiped out.
Yeah.
And they kind of split with 2 ideas of what it means to be Mandalorian.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Because this is also the first time we ever really hear about foundlings.
Yeah.
That was not something we'd heard about up to this point. So I think that the idea of what Mandalorian could be was reinvented by who was left.
Yeah. Man, I really...
He gets his jetpack.
Yeah, yes, he
does.
does. That,
Although that being said, Din says that he was a foundling during the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
So that could even say that then this kind of ideology was happening.
Yeah.
So. I don't know. We'll have to see.
I think the lava river is a really cool idea, and again, we've talked about...
This is the lava river. Thanks, Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I can see it.
It's like, yeah, that's definitely a river of lava.
The CG in this show continues to be awesome.
Yeah.
So do the practicals.
Yeah. IG giving himself
Just
up.
feels like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Buff 2D2.
Buff 2D2 is cool, yeah.
The Flame Trooper.
Flame Trooper is the coolest design ever.
Doesn't look anything like the Flame Troopers of old.
Doesn't look like Flame
Who
Troopers
gives
in
a shit?
Battlefront 2.
He's like, I'm here to
He's got like
wreck
it almost looks like a skull design.
I really like the idea that, because obviously no Empire, so they're just going rogue.
Yep.
But I really like the idea that it wasn't a Flame Trooper; it was just a Stormtrooper that was just like, mine now.
Thank you.
I'm gonna take this flamethrower
Just
because
paints his own armor. Is like, this is mine.
Death Troopers continue to be awesome, and
Yeah.
they kick Mando's ass a little bit.
Yeah.
It's nice to see again. Like this whole show, he hasn't been like, I'm the toughest guy on the planet. Like he gets his ass kicked.
no, he gets
I'm
hit.
also
He doesn't
really
get
glad.
shot at.
I'm also really glad that the Death Troopers continue to play a role in the story.
Yeah.
Because in Jedi Fallen Order, it's the Purge Troopers and not the Death Troopers. We haven't seen them since Rogue One, so I'm excited that they're a cool ass design.
Yeah.
They're cool in Battlefront too.
And I'm glad we're seeing more of them.
Yeah, the second we saw Death Troopers, well, my girlfriend and I were like, oh, shit, oh.
And hey, we can't see them in the original trilogy, so
No, we can't.
Because here they are.
Oh.
It's cool.
well, George Lucas goes back and digitally adds them.
No,
It's a
no,
trilogy.
George, why?
So there's a lot of moments that I think just watching this and then thinking back on the season that made me feel like there's a lot of video game feel to it.
Yeah.
Just with the way that, especially
lot of quests.
in this episode, yeah, very much
Yeah.
like talking to the Forager feels like something ripped out of a video game.
Yeah.
Because, like, they're on the run from the troopers, but hold on, let's take a 10-minute pause to do exposition and get you set up with your gear. And I'm like, this is...
Are you guys ready for the final boss
I-
against Gideon?
I'm not entirely convinced that some of this didn't come from video game ideas already.
Yeah.
Okay, here's that signet that you've been trying to get this whole time. Here you go.
Oh,
yeah.
he didn't try to get it. He was like,
Plus,
it wasn't
plus
on
2 to
the-
your valor.
Oh, yeah. Plus two to valor, plus 2 to the armor defense.
Yeah. That being said, I still thought this was a really good episode.
It
Yeah.
was.
When he, I really liked IG-11 in this. I'm sad that he was killed too.
Yeah.
But I at least really like it. I kind of wish we'd lost either Queel or IG-11, not both.
Same.
Yeah.
Again, it just goes back to I want a team.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think IG-11 is the more poignant because it. However, I will say that it felt a little fast. Just because IG-11 stuck around and helped save his life,
And he
then
already
he's
died
already
once.
sad, and he's like, "No, we need you to stick around." I'm
Yeah.
like, we could have done this at a later point in the timeline
And-
of IG-11, but
yeah.
it is a good moment. It's a cool, good moment.
And again, it would have been awesome because we see this episode, Kara is like, oh, I don't do babies. If she were part of the team and she slowly got to realize she actually likes the baby.
Right.
That'd be cool. That'd be a cool
Even though
character.
the
Yeah.
baby
Even though the
force
baby
choked
force
her.
choked
Even
her,
though the
yeah.
baby force instructor. Also, fun fact. What's the actress's name? I already forgot. Actress's name.
Oh,
I got it. She was in Halo.
Gina
Gina Carano.
Carano.
She actually passed out filming that scene because she had to pretend choking so hard that she actually passed out.
oh.
Like she's dedicated to her craft.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, that. How old is Baby Yoda?
50.
No, I know, but like equivalency
One.
because
One.
Well, so he can't talk.
He seems about 1.5.
He can't talk, but he is clearly
He can walk?
cognizant of the fact that he can use the Force.
Yes.
He knows that he can use the Force. Obviously, the more powerful ones take it out of him.
So I would propose that there's a possibility that he's capable of speech, but he hasn't done it because for 50 years he hasn't had anyone to talk to or heard speech.
This could be like, if you guys watch Futurama, a Nibbler situation.
Nibbler, yeah.
Where Nibbler is a cat, dog, alien thing, and it turns out he's really sophisticated and really smart.
However, I propose because they have put it as like because he's 50 and still a toddler at least. I propose until the series is over, I never want to hear that cute little shitter talk
Yeah, I don't expect him to talk.
because what's the voice gonna sound like? What voice is cuter than just him
Mando.
cooing?
Mando.
Nothing is cuter than just him going like, I want this.
I do. So the idea
Hey,
that
baby.
the armorer basically gives him this quest, like, oh, you need to find his species. You need to find his home.
Well, the Mandalorian thinks he's looking. Well, the Forger says that he belongs to the Jedi. That's his species. The Mandalorian is probably thinking he needs to find what his species
Yeah.
are.
Well, because he uses the Force, and she's like, oh, the only people that I know use the Force are Jedi.
And you know what? There's a Jedi
I feel like that
around.
was kind of reversed the way you said it.
Oh,
It
maybe
seemed to
then.
me like the Forager was saying you need to find a species, and he's like, so I have to take him to the
Jedi,
to the
yeah.
sorcerers.
Yeah.
They're gonna make him one of them, and she's like, no.
No, find his
You
species.
can make him like you.
Yeah.
Just find his home
Yeah.
where his people
Yeah.
are.
Find his planet.
If
that
there
he
are
comes
any,
from.
because we don't know.
I like that they call them old sorcerers. Like,
Yeah.
enough time has passed where it's like,
The
the
Jedi are
myth
so-
stuff is building.
Like the
It's
legend,
really-
the legend of Luke Skywalker being a Jedi hasn't reached him yet. they're still kind of about it.
My instinct is that there aren't any of Yoda's species left.
Yeah.
That they're quite rare.
I agree.
Otherwise, I don't think the Imperials would be so obsessed with this child.
I don't think he's gonna find
if it were common.
Unless, because new canon is obsessed with
I don't want a Baby Yoda world.
The new canon is obsessed with the unknown regions. What if his planet is in the unknown regions?
I just don't think that's something Star Wars needs, is a planet of Yodas. I think him being like a mystery.
There's a planet of Wookiees.
That's
there's
not
a planet
the same.
of.
That's not the same.
There's planets of everything.
Yeah, but the point being that like they kind of established that every one of Yoda's species is almost more in tune with the Force by nature than any other species we've seen.
Then that gives me a lot of questions about Yoda.
Yeah.
But just not like answers that I would need to answer.
I don't need
but
them.
like things that like if Yoda is one of the few left of his species, like what were what was the species' history? Were they some of the earlier Jedi? Like it does open up a lot of interesting storytelling possibilities that I'd be interested in exploring. I'm not saying I want the Mandalorian to answer.
Do you know what I think would be really interesting is if Yoda's species is mostly gone at this point, but Yoda was someone who tried to take an active hand in pushing the light side of the Force to a greater level, whereas the rest of his species is far more passive and neutral with the Force. And they're much more like, you don't interfere with the balance, you don't mess with it, and Yoda's like, no, I can shape the Jedi Order.
Yeah.
And he was wrong.
And he was wrong. That's the whole point. He failed. He was wrong that whole time, and he resisted that natural relationship.
It's too bad that Mando doesn't know about Luke. Because it would be interesting if he could be like, oh, there's a Jedi out there already. I'll just drop this thing off with him and we'll be good.
Yeah.
He doesn't even need to see Luke, but it would be interesting to be like, okay, there's a Jedi. Remember that season of Angel? Remember that episode of Angel when they're going to look for Buffy, but they keep finding Buffy's decoys?
Oh my god!
It's like that.
Jesus.
But with Luke.
That was so stupid.
They keep finding Luke's decoy.
That was the last season, right?
Yeah.
I do like
that
the
puppet
idea.
episode though.
Yeah, that puppet was good.
So the idea, or not the idea, but like we're now at a point where the Mando has Baby Yoda. He's like, all right, let's go find the peeps or whatever, and
he gives him the ball.
He gives him the ball, and he goes into space. So this gives us the bounty hunters will be always after him, so we can always get cool cameos, cool anything like, hey, I hear you got this Baby Yoda, or whatever. So that they're always season 2. I bet there's gonna be tons of like little action, like John Wick moments almost. We're like, I'm here to get you. I'm Bill Hader. Like that.
I'll be honest. If the show does end with him finding Yoda's planet, and there are at least a couple of his species around, I'm not opposed to that.
I just hope it's done well.
That's the thing. We've never explored Yoda's species.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily something that George didn't have an intention of doing. It was just something that George never did. So to have someone the reason why Baby Yoda's in the show, Jon Favreau said, is because they've never explored their species.
Yeah.
Exploring their species does have something to do with their home planet.
Yeah.
Now, perhaps the home planet is ravaged and nobody's there. But if there are some there, and that's how the series ends, is he leaves Baby Yoda with his species, I'm not opposed to how that ending.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it's just like...
He's only going to be 70 by the time Force Awakens comes out. What is that, 5? He's 5?
Yeah, for real.
It's not like he's going to do anything.
It's just like, for me, the mystery of hit, like, I can't think of any answer that's better than what... it's like the mystery thing. Like, it's better not to know the origin. And, like, of course, if they do it well, that's cool. But, like, I'm just imagining a planet of Yodas, and I'm like, oh, okay. It just seems weird to me.
I'm picturing something much like when we were in the midst of Clone Wars, and there's the... forgive me, but what's their names?
Which ones?
The ones who are like the god and the devil and the...
Oh, the Mortis.
Yes, the Mortis. I'm picturing something that's more like a planet for the Mortis, but it's all about Yoda's species. But that was very much about the balance of light and dark, and Yoda's planet would be similar, but it would be all about just living in tandem with the Force, living in just moment-to-moment peace with the Force.
Yeah, you guys remember the...
Again, like, if you base the idea that not all of Yoda's species is like Yoda as far as their ideology, then it's interesting, because Yoda diverted away from something, just like the Mandalorian would have to divert away from his own, if that is what we're hinting at for his story down the road. But if I agree with you, like, I don't want a planet of Yoda. But if we have his species, and his species is far more passive with the Force, I think that is interesting.
Do you guys remember the E.T. ride at Universal Studios?
Yeah, he said my name.
A lot like that.
I guess we're not.
You
not sold me.
I think if they're more passive, it implies this kind of this idea of like, oh, their species probably could be some of the most powerful Force users ever.
Yeah.
Obviously, and it's like, yeah, but it's the choice not to.
I mean, that's also assuming that it's just not that all their species are powerful with the Force, which we are assuming at this point.
I think we have to because there's only been 3 and they've all been Force users, and they imply not only that Baby Yoda is in tune with the Force, but that he's very powerful. Mm-hmm. I think that there has to be some amount, and he's young. There has to be some amount of natural talent. Like, he's more powerful than Anakin was at his age. Like there has to be some kind of deep genetic connection that they have with the Force, just by the nature of their species. And it could be where just like an evolutionary thing of where they've grown up or something. But I think it has to be something that's defining part of them. But it doesn't mean that they all have to feel like they need to play a role in relation to the Force.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm feeling is, this seems like, again, I don't think I necessarily have a...
Which would also explain why their planet would be so far out and away, and why they don't get involved, is because they're like, everything out there wants us to be involved.
Yeah, everything out there sucks.
And we know that we need to just maintain peace with the Force.
Yeah. What was I saying?
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I had it. Right. I'm not necessarily against the idea of Yoda planet. It's just, that seems like one of those ideas, like, Mandalorian to me seems like it's not more mature, but it's like a Western. It's like a spaghetti Western type of thing. And that seems like more like Rebels resistance stuff. This I want the Mandalorian to be what it is, like a little more focused on the Mando and his, like, that seems to be opening like a huge world that I don't necessarily want.
My counter to that is they shouldn't have introduced Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Because the reason why they introduced that species is to dive more into that species. There are hundreds of more species in the galaxy that you could have introduced. A baby Rodian would have been cute. A baby Gungan, hell. Like a baby Twi'lek. Like, you could have done baby anything. But you chose Baby Yoda
because it's powerful in the Force.
Because they could be powerful in the Force.
Mm-hmm. And we know very little.
And so to dive into them creates more storytelling possibilities.
And I don't think it's a problem. I get what you're saying, but I don't think it's a problem if, like, as Brandon's saying, it's the end of the show. Him getting to that place.
Oh yeah, I don't think...
You know, like, it's not something that we're exploring.
Season 2, Episode 1. Hi!
No. Like, you know, every few episodes, he goes back and checks in. Like, I don't want that either.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend a lot of time there. But I think us ultimately seeing that planet is probably a good idea.
And the planet has to be lost. Because the Jedi Order clearly didn't know about it.
Nobody knows about it.
Like, nobody knows about it.
Yoda never talks about it.
The Imperials don't know about it. Palpatine wouldn't know about it.
Yeah.
That's got to be really well hidden.
What if it's Exegol?
It's not Exegol.
No.
It's the other side of Exegol.
Oh my god.
No.
It's just a giant green
we
forest.
jumped to talking about all that. I wanted to talk about the sequence where he puts on the jetpack and he fights the TIE Fighter.
That's a cool sequence.
It is a dope sequence.
Yeah. I like
he does his hook and
I really like that he's like, okay.
And I like that he's not always, again, like, one of my favorite things is he's not always great.
Yeah.
I really like that he's just like, okay, I'm not ready with the jetpack. All I need to go is up.
Yeah.
And I'm okay if I just go up. And so I really appreciate that. However, he's going to have to get rid of that damn cape because that thing will light on fire.
Yeah. Boba Fett got away with it.
And look where he ended up, in the Sarlacc pit.
It's a shorter one.
Oh, he used
like a shoulder
one. He has a shoulder cape,
Yeah, alright. But he's got a really long cape.
Plenty of Mandalorians have had capes and flown.
He's got a really long cape.
He does. But it was fine because
I like
he just
the
pushed
cape
it to
the
the
Incredibles, y'all.
I like the cape design a lot. I was actually kind of okay with him not having a jetpack, personally.
Yeah, it was... Does he now... That's his. He owns it, right?
Yeah,
okay.
it is, yeah.
I wonder how often they're going to use it.
All the time.
Probably quite a bit now.
I wonder if they're going to break it immediately so they'll have to use it.
No, I'm just looking forward to next season, because my whole thing next season is that Gideon is after the Mandalorian, because Gideon wants the child.
And Cara Dune shows up and was like, sorry I left!
I really hope that they realize that they need to keep some amount of a consistent cast around him.
He needs to talk to people.
Cara Dune's great. Like, I really like her. Just keep her around.
Yeah.
Stop fighting it. And honestly, Carl Weathers too, but I understand that you want to leave him on the planet, so he's the guy running jobs.
Yeah.
But, like, I could happily have both of them on the ship, or IG-11 on the ship, but he died.
We're going to probably get introduced to a bunch of new characters next season, I assume.
Probably.
That's fine, but, like, this is very much like a supernatural kind of problem, where that show really wears out its welcome the more seasons you get into it, because it only has a main cast of 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, even though you can see their faces, you dried up everything at about season 5, which is why the best seasons are seasons 1 through 5. And then once you get past that, it's like we start repeating story beats because it's just these 2 guys and there's no other cast members. And it's like, no, we need some other people in here.
Yeah.
Consistently and regularly, we need some other people keeping this going.
Yeah, absolutely.
So everything that we have from this first season going into next season, I am very excited because I think Giancarlo Esposito is a awesome talent. And he is super menacing. We got that Darksaber, so like there's gonna be some Mandalorian passion of like how he got that. More Baby Yoda stuff, probably a lot more bounty hunter stuff to come kill Baby Yoda. I think the future's bright.
I think he's good with the bounty hunters.
No, I'm. Oh, you're right. The guild.
Yeah.
Oh, then he's not gonna fight anybody. Dang it.
Probably more.
The Empire still.
The Empire will hire bounty hunters.
Yeah.
There you go.
Imperials are gonna be like,
Imps.
yo, get this guy. Where
Get me Dengar. He's alive.
So I'm convinced it's Boba Fett on Tatooine.
Oh yeah, the cha-ching.
I was pretty sure before, but now that it's something that they showed and teased, but didn't pay off before the season was over, I'm like, well then that's Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Nobody else is important enough to leave hanging until next season.
Yeah, that's true.
It's Boba Fett.
Also makes sense.
It's the sound. It's on Tatooine. It's Boba Fett.
Yeah.
I just hope they do something cool with it. If
I
that's
do
the
too.
case.
God, it has to be Tamura Morrison, right? If they bring Boba Fett in, it has to be the original clone trooper, the guy from
Yeah.
Clones.
Uh-huh.
And he's gonna be old, and that'd be awesome. That'd be so cool. I will kill if that happens. And I don't want Boba Fett back, but if it does, make it the guy.
If you make it that actor, like I'd love to see that.
Yeah,
me too.
If you make it Aquaman's dad, I'm into it.
If you do this, if you bring him,
And I would love to also, if you're going to have him on the show, I would love to see him. You might have been about to say this. I would love to see him as some of the Stormtroopers, specifically the Death Troopers, to confirm the idea that they are clones.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Still held.
that would. Oh my god, if they did like Clone Wars stuff. Oh my god, I would go crazy.
Ooh.
That's the stuff I want. That'd be so dope.
Yeah.
Maybe I like Boba Fett now.
If they introduced Boba Fett into the show, I would be interested to see how. I lost it.
What happened
Sorry,
to that
we were talking about the
Sarlacc
actor
pit.
playing him.
Yeah, which it should be. It should be him because he's great. I really like your idea about the Death Troopers.
Sure.
Confirming the clone trooper thing.
It's one of the better shots.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gone.
Come back to you. 4 o'clock in the morning.
If they were going to introduce Boba Fett, Sarlacc pit.
It's gone. Gone, baby, gone.
No, I got nothing.
Just like IG-88.
No.
Sorry, IG-11. I'm a droidist.
I just don't see what else it could be at this point.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would you show that and not pay it off?
Oh, I remember. It would explain if you introduce Boba Fett into this. It would explain why Boba Fett has been missing from new canon.
Mm-hmm.
It was always kind of like this unspoken thing. Like, yeah, he probably in old canon in the Legends universe, he did make it out of the Sarlacc pit. So
there is a reference in one of the new books.
Yeah.
They don't say Boba Fett's name, but they say they found armor near the Sarlacc pit, and it's super just like, here's one.
Yeah.
Hope you're happy.
So it would explain kind of why new canon has been like, well, let's wait for Boba Fett until we get the story, and perhaps Jon Favreau was like, I got the story.
And I do feel like if you were to bring back Boba Fett, having it be tied to like his relationship to Mandalorian culture is the most interesting thing you could do at this point with the character. Because everything else would just be him being Boba Fett.
Right, but I mean, like, as far as we
He
know...
would just be an adversary, I guess.
As far as we know, Boba Fett has no real connection to Mandalore.
But that's the thing, is like, this is the best opportunity to explore what his relationship is, if it exists.
What's his character?
Because he's obviously had some kind of run-in with Mandalorians at some point.
Yeah.
He's been recognized for the armor, and there's some kind of relationship and like back and forth between them.
Jango before him.
So we want to know, if we wanted to explore that and actually give Boba Fett a character, this is probably the place to do it.
Yeah. I'd be really interested to see if they ever do explain why Jango and by extension Boba were not actually Mandalorians, but why they had the armor.
I wonder if that would be an establishment of the early idea of like maybe Jango was a foundling.
Oh, maybe.
And purebloods really didn't like him, and like he didn't uphold. I know that there's already like background history that is canon, that is like, you know, about that Jango just didn't even follow the creed. Like he didn't give two craps about the way that they wanted it to be. You know, he wasn't trying to follow it, and so that was part of the problem. But like, he could have been a whole inspiration for why purebloods thought the foundling program was bad.
Yeah.
Huh, I'm sorry. Jango is not a... Okay,
this is all me just building ideas of what
Jango Fett is not born a Mandalorian.
Right.
Okay.
So he would, in theory, be a foundling.
Yeah.
And he could be one that
Or he stole their armor.
That too, but I feel like it's far more interesting if he is a foundling.
Yeah.
Man, if the Mandalorian is like a secret backdoor pilot to making Boba Fett cool, I'm not opposed to that actually.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed because like in design Boba Fett's cool, and now we have the Mandalorian because of Boba Fett. He's the original idea.
And as I said last time, Boba Fett in canon, nothing has made him cool in canon.
Yeah.
He's shown up in Star Wars comics, and
Tons
that's cool.
of legends,
I guess.
tons of legends,
Tons of
did
Legends
it,
material.
but
Yeah.
nothing in canon.
Have you guys heard that theory about the Legends material? About its relationship to new canon?
No,
It's a parallel universe.
No. That all Legends material is Legends in the Star
Oh,
Wars
it's
universe.
stories in Star Wars.
Exactly, and so like
Oh.
that's why they called it Legends, is because like some of it there can be some truth in it, and
I
that's
love
how
that
they work
idea.
it back into the stories. But some of it is just like hearsay around the universe about like what
Yeah.
happened, and so like everything that Luke did with Mara Jade is like just a
it's
story
Logan.
that
It's
some people
X-Men
have
comics in Logan.
told. Yeah,
Like
yeah,
some of these are true, some of them are not.
exactly.
I like that
I
idea.
like
Which I think is really cool because you can kind of have your cake and eat it too, and say like, you know, in some parts of the universe, because like, you know,
Thrawn's all of them.
Din,
Yeah.
Din doesn't even know what Jedi are, so like, you know, there are definitely parts of the universe where you can just be like, oh yeah, I've heard this story about this guy,
Yeah,
Obi-Wan Kenobi, and what he did on Tatooine this one time.
you can have it be like Mara Jade is a made-up character in the Legends, or you could have it be like Mara Jade really existed, but she didn't marry Luke.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They might have had a fling,
Yeah,
but they're not together.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's all this like BS
That is such an awesome
formed around that
idea.
idea. Right. I think that's
Because it
I think
validates everything that ever happened, like, in a way.
Yeah, because when you're enjoying those stories, you can be like, it's all true from a certain point of view.
Yes.
Yeah.
or the Thrawn trilogy could just be like someone was like, I remember there was this dude in the Empire who disappeared before the Battle of Scarif, but what if he stuck around?
Oh,
Right.
I didn't mention this
Or
on...
did he reappear later?
Yeah, I didn't mention this on our previous podcast, but one of the comics I also read was the Thrawn comic book that Jody Hauser wrote.
Oh, nice.
Thrawn's dope. Thrawn is really cool, and he's super smart and badass. And I'm like, God, I want him to show up.
Really want you to watch Rebels.
Oh, I have to. Is it on Disney Plus? Of course
Yes,
it is.
it is.
All right.
Like
Thrawn is so
season
good.
1 is the only season of that's hard to get.
Do I
through.
have to
And
watch
once-
it?
Yeah.
All right.
You have to understand the character relationships, but
There's
like
good stuff in season
you
one.
get through. There is good stuff. It's just it is the only one that takes a little time to build its momentum.
Remember, it
But
has
once-
the Filoni thing. First season, everything else,
Yeah, that's just true of the Filoni shows.
Yeah.
But like that's even I'd argue true on some level of
Oh,
Mandalorian.
Same here.
But
Yeah.
once you're through that, it's all gold, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's all.
I would
gold
love to
once
watch
you
a
get
Star Wars
past
show
it.
I haven't seen, so yeah, okay.
I'm
All right.
probably going to start watching Rebels soon.
Yeah.
Guys should watch Rebels.
I kind of want to watch Rebels now.
Well,
I
the
love
thing is, because
Rebels.
Fanny's watching Clone Wars, so if I can watch Rebels, then she can get on Rebels, I can get on Clone Wars. We can
Hell
switch.
Hey guys, StarArs is pretty cool.
It is.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think an overall good season. After I talked about not wanting to see Mando's face, the further we got along to the season, as long as he has people to bounce off of, I don't need to see his face. And the fact that I did see his face now, I'm like, oh, definitely Pedro Pascal is not acting in this show. He's in it for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And that makes me worried for the second season. I'm like, oh, I hope they don't do that again. Just keep it on or take it off.
Mhm.
Like,
But I think because of the story they're telling, he has to keep it on
Yeah.
for a while.
No,
so I'm like,
yeah.
just embrace that, and
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Put people around him to make the.
that's all I
character-
want to. yeah.
Because he works. Like, would you agree? Like,
Yeah.
he worked throughout these episodes when he was interacting with Kara and Carl Weathers. Like, he works as long as he's playing with other people.
Kara
he
and
just
Carl.
can't be only playing with the puppet.
Yes. Yes.
It doesn't work.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. I counted it off on my hand, and I definitely really, really like over half of the episodes.
No, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's a few where I'm like,
There's only a couple that are like, yeah, okay.
I could probably, in hindsight, almost entirely lose the prisonership episode.
Me too.
And that's such a sad thing because that's the episode that should be the
Cool in
dopest.
concept,
Yeah.
not in execution.
Like again, like having Bill Burr show up in your Star Wars show is like so cool, and they waste them.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a shame. Yeah, but overall, I like the season. Like,
This season should have been 9 episodes, and the prisoner whole thing should have been 2.
yeah,
Should have taken 2 episodes to really flesh out that stuff.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And then I think that the only really, really weak one would be episode 4.
Is that the one with the ATSC?
Yeah.
The Village with the boom
Yeah.
mic.
I would say that's the only
And
really,
Card.
really weak episode
Yeah.
then.
Yeah. At least we got Cara Dune in that one though. She's
We
cool.
did.
Yeah.
We did.
And a cool looking ATST.
Especially when it's coming out of the woods. That is
Yeah.
still terrifying.
Ended on an excellent note, though.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
You got me wanting to come back for more. So.
Yeah, definitely like that Darksaber as a super interesting wrinkle that I did not expect at all.
I expected him to come out of the ship. I didn't expect him to cut his way out with the Darksaber.
I thought it was just been like a thing.
Oh boy!
Yeah.
And it
That's
looks
a big
awesome.
deal.
It looks so cool, man. Reminds me of Knights of the Old Republic.
I
man.
cannot understand how happy I was when they said that Cara Dune was the daughter of Alderaan.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, man, way to just like, here's the, you might have wondered, what's her deal? Why is Imperial the thing that got her to jump right up and do this?
Boom!
Alderaan.
Yeah.
And it's like, dang, I got it. I
Yeah.
get it. It's right there.
So Galaxy's Edge has lightsabers. You can buy the lightsabers recreations of famous characters, specifically characters up to the events of The Last Jedi. So unfortunately, we will not be seeing Rey's lightsaber, which is a bummer.
Give it a year.
However, you will be seeing Leia's
Yes,
and Ben's.
Leia's
Ben
and
Solo.
Ben's are being added.
However,
Is Leia's blue?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So is Ben's.
Well, you can make it whatever color you want. The handle is being added.
Okay. I only saw that. Like I don't remember what it looks like very much.
So if he really liked Leia's handle, for example, but he wanted his green lightsaber, he could get it.
So you're saying I could do a Jedi Fallen Order on it?
You can,
Yeah.
you can obviously make your own. However, if they introduce the Darksaber into that park,
Oh.
give me all the sabers.
Oh my god, that'd be a mistake. They would make too much
You
money.
introduced the Darksaber. Now I would like to buy all the sabers, please.
It's like, yeah, so we have Ben Solos, we have Leia Organa's, and what's the Darksaber? Brian just pops out, like, hi, yes, I'd like to buy all your sabers, please.
Now, I don't remember, is it a regular katana that you ignite around, or is it like a lightsaber that shoots up?
It's a lightsaber that shoots out.
Lightsaber
Okay,
shoots
okay.
out.
It looks like a katana.
Functions like a lightsaber.
It is a lightsaber.
Cool.
The blade is still made of light.
Yeah.
It's just dark light.
Okay.
The handle is it's a different type of handle than we've seen. Now I would imagine that perhaps designing it would create some issues for people like Galaxy's Edge because it is a thin blade and not a round one.
Yeah.
And creating that light effect.
Creating that light effect, yeah.
But when they do it, it's gonna be cool.
When they
It's
do it-
got to be black on the inside with a white outline and then glow black light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hard.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
$50 extra, and everyone will pay for it.
I paid for it.
I want it so bad.
Yeah.
You know what? Galaxy's Edge, don't even worry about the blade. Just give me the handle.
Just give me a handle.
Oh.
Yeah, I can
go with
Photoshop
that.
it.
Yeah. I'm done.
All right.
Good job,
Any other
Mandalorian.
thoughts?
I'm
Proud of you.
Ben?
I'm excited for a second
good.
season. I'm excited for the second season.
There you
I'm
go.
excited for all.
It's already done shooting, so
Oh, it hasn't even started shooting.
it definitely has.
Has it started shooting?
100%.
Yeah.
It's been shooting.
I haven't
Like,
heard anything
it's been
about
shooting
it.
since last year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Alright.
We saw behind the scenes stuff already.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm not lying.
I'm not
That's
saying
why it's
I'm
coming
Yeah.
out. Fall 2020.
wrong. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Hopefully the Cassian Andor series and the Obi-Wan series.
Oh, which one's first?
I think Cassian Andor.
So
I think
supposedly
Obi-Wan-
it was supposed to be Cassian because it was announced first, but I think they're closer to production on Obi-Wan than the Cassian one.
It looks like they're like
Okay.
fast tracking it almost.
Probably because everyone wanted Obi-Wan anyway.
I'm just saying, if you look at the
I
Golden
bet they're trying
Globes,
to work around Ewan McGregor's schedule too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he has Obi-Wan hair, at least from one of the earlier episodes. So,
Yeah.
got a mullet.
Give me my Mace Windu story. That's all I want.
Oh my God! With his one hand, yes,
Yeah.
dope.
I'd be into that.
That'll do her.
Have you guys seen the meme page that takes Rey and it shows a transparent image of all the Jedi with their lines talking from the Rise of Skywalker, and if you scroll all the way down, you got Qui-Gon Jinn, Anakin Skywalker, and all them, and if you get to the bottom, it's Sam Jackson. It's like, kill that mother effer.
Kill
No,
this mother
it's
effer.
like rise, motherfucker. Because they're all like,
Oh, that's the
rise.
one you saw?
Yeah.
No, I saw kill that mother
Oh, I need to see that one.
I liked it a lot because it's all of the exact lines with all the characters. It's even Luminara, every single Jedi, and it gets mixed with at the bottom.
Kill that motherfucker.
Kill that mother effer, and I'm like, he so would. He'd be so bitter.
Oh my
You
God.
know, his force goes to be like, yes, you deserve to die, and I hope you burn in hell.
If Mace Windu, who's a very subdued Sam Jackson,
Yeah.
if he turns just into Sam Jackson,
As
and he's just old, one arm, like, man, this shit sucks. I will 100% accept it. Please, Disney, do it. Sam will do it. You know he will.
Oh my god, what if he just retreated to Yoda's home planet?
Oh.
That's where he is. He's finding pure balance with the Force.
He's hanging on Yoda's tree, but it's too big, so he's just like this.
No, not Dagobah. To Yoda's
Yoda's
species
homeworld.
And he's just in pure passive nature with the Force.
Now I'll accept Baby Yoda. All right.
He's a person who can walk between the light and the dark of the Force. So he is the balance.
Yeah, exactly. Star Wars is cool, guys. All right, let's call
Star
it
Wars
there.
is great.
Listen, I will now take a Baby Yoda planet if Sam Jackson's hanging out there. That's my acceptance.
I'll just take Sam Jackson anywhere in Star Wars
Yeah.
now. All right, we'll call it there. Thanks so much for joining us. This is the end of our Fake Nerds Watch Mandalorian. At the moment, we only have one Fake Nerds Watch show still on our docket. It's been on our docket for a while. It's Dark Crystal Age of Resistance.
It's gonna happen.
Pick that back up.
We got time.
And we're not going to touch anything else until we get it done.
No other show is ever going to come out until we're done.
No.
Not for Fake
TV's
Nerds Watch.
canceled? No, I'm just canceling TV.
Yeah.
You're a person who canceling TV.
Well, Crisis.
What, do you think we were going to talk about The Witcher? Nope. Crisis Special? Nope. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Mando
You
only!
won't see me ever
Crisis
again.
Special is exempt.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be back for Crisis in about a week or so. Yeah, but I'm saying from when this actually drops on YouTube,
1 week.
which with my track record will be in
2 days!
2 months ago we did Crisis.
Yeah, so at this point you should be able to check out our downright nerdy Star Wars retrospective special if you enjoy talking about Star Wars.
Crossover.
That's 3.5 hours of us and Michael Carls and Riley Sloan from the Downright Nerdy podcast just talking about everything movie-wise from Star Wars up to Rise of Skywalker.
Lots of Star Wars.
It's a whole lot of stuff. We also have our Rise of Skywalker review, which does not have Michael Carls and Riley Sloan, but does have our good friend Jeremy Vellucci on it.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that is up, and you can check it out wherever you listen to podcasts, or you can check it out here on YouTube, and you can check out all our other Fake Nerds Watch shows, like Watchmen from HBO, and Dark Crystal, because we're going to pick that one up.
From 6 months ago.
And
Still
Basement
up?
Arcade is still coming out.
Gotta
We
go
got
fast.
another episode of Sonic
Crisis.
coming out soon, and we
Yeah.
have our Crisis
Yeah,
Fake
Crisis,
Nerds Watch
yeah.
episode if you're interested in that stuff. So all that, check it out. And
I'm going to say Mortal Kombat, maybe. Saying it. Deal with it.
Okay.
Mortal
You
Kombat.
heard it here first. Mortal Kombat maybe on Fake Nerds Watch.
MK.
And so we will call it there. Brandon, where can they find you?
You can find me at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter.
Awesome. Ben
Oh, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at BenMagnet27.
and Ryan.
You can find me at DJ Tony Snark everywhere.
Awesome. And I'm Sparks Witty. You can find me doing whatever I do at Sparks Witty on Instagram and Twitter. SPARKZ Witty. That'll do it. Until next time, stay Fake Nerds.
This is the way!
May the Force be with you.
Bam, boom, bam,
I've spoken.
bam. Let's do this. Okay. Oh, it's recording.
That's going to be his thumbnail.
No, it's not. It can't be. You can't handle sexy.
Okay.
Okay.
Damn it, Ryan.